Hi, this is Julie Mullins. We are here with Stereophile at the Florida International Audio Expo with Scott Walker Audio, and we also have Josh Doyle. And we're going to talk through their massive system here in this big room. So, yeah, what made you decide on the components? And then we'll dive into individual pieces.
Well, the room's huge. It's 35 by 55. So we needed something that will energize the space and not seem like an aircraft hangar when you walk in. So we chose this speaker to do that. We have lots of speakers that would do that, but this speaker really we felt would be a great match for the volume of air that we have in this room. So and the ceilings are 10 feet high, so you know this room has more square footage than my house.
Wow,
You know, so
well, in addition to that too, people want to hear the speaker, right? It's a flagship model from Estelon.
Estelon Extreme.
And people want to experience the Estelon Extreme, which has only been shown at one other show. So
let's talk about the speaker a little bit. This front portion with the diamond coated tweeter, mid-range and mid-bass adjusts up and down. You said 11 inches?
It's motorized, and so you can sit in your listening spot with a remote control, and it will displace a total of 11 inches. So you can adjust it upwards or downwards depending on how far you're sitting from the speaker, and for your, to dial in the sound field in your listening position. In addition, the tweeter will display several millimeters in or out to really give you that last degree of transparency and depth of sound field, et cetera. So the speaker has quite a bit of adjustability to it, and you do it from a remote control from your seating position, so it's very slick.
Nice. And the tweeter, how does that, is it the whole piece? Or the forward back?
Well, there's felt around here, and there's like a rubber, housing that isolates the tweeter from the cabinet, and then there's a motor in the back that sort of pops this entire housing out a couple millimeters or recesses it. And the difference is dramatic. It's not like, I think I can, whoop. I mean, it dials it exactly in.
Yeah, I mean, if you want it more anchored, you want it more forward, and it totally changes the sound field, right? It's just, it's a preference thing, but it's also room dependent as well. Like, how is it energizing the space? It changes the bass, it changes the mid-woofer just by changing the tweeter.
So it gives you everything blends. A lot of adjustability to your listening situation in your room. So that's nice.
Yes, and then the woofers here, you have the speakers bi-amped also with Vitus audio with the monoblocks.
So we're running one monoblock for the woofers and one for this module, essentially. It's a ported design speaker, so these woofers on this enclosure are ported out the back. And Josh, why don't you talk about the proprietary binding post they use?
Yeah, so they have an interchangeable binding post. You can see here so this is set for a bi-wire design. From those gold pins that you see at the back of the binding post, you can take those out, change a different plate. It has a little copper bus bar that jumps the sections, and you can come in just standard with one pair of speaker cables if you wanted to run one pair.
Julie, I'll tell you, interestingly, when we were setting up, we were waiting for some speaker cables, a second set of speaker cables to come in. And so we set the system up a few days in advance of the show, and we were just using one amp
per channel,
per speaker. And it was so good that I told the guys, hey, listen, unless the second amp does not add significant performance, we're not using it. So the speaker is quite efficient and doesn't need, you don't have to use two amps. You can, but you don't have to. And as it turned out, the second amp was a nice increase in performance in this huge space. But to the point of, I said, hey guys, if it's not like really, really awesome, we're going to stay with the one amp on each speaker. And it turned out to be good, but a lot of flexibility, and the speakers are efficient. They do not take crazy power.
Well, also with that too, the Vitus audio amplifiers have an insane amount of current delivery and power.
Sure.
all models,
They
from
can do the
integrated,
job. Yeah.
stereo
Yeah.
amp,
Get the job done.
monoblocks.
Yep.
They have absolute
big
grip
cojones.
and control
Yeah.
of any
cojones.
speaker.
Yeah, and
So-
Class A up to 100 watts, and
Yes.
then you can run Class AB
Yes,
also.
yes.
Correct, and also some different modes to the amplifier, rock and classic. So it's really
right.
unique in this system. Because we're running 2 amplifiers, we're taking one of the mono amplifiers, we're running it in rock on the bass woofers, and we're running in classic on the mid-range and tweeters into the upper frequencies. So you get this velvety smooth liquid mid-range and upper frequencies, but the bottom end control rock solid bass on the bottom.
All right, so elsewhere in the system, let's talk about the front end sources here. We've got the Sonorus tape deck. So
Yep.
you're going to talk about why a tape
Well,
deck
I mean-
as opposed to vinyl, say, turntable.
First of all, it's easy to take to a show. I mean, the turntable is
A lot of setup, detail,
not only that, but risk.
cartridge,
People
everything.
walk up,
arm.
there goes your
Right.
$10,000 cartridge.
Yeah.
But mostly the reason we use the tape machine is it's, for me, it's unlike any source that I'm aware of. This machine is used in a lot of recording studios in particular, and anybody that knows Arian Jensen and Sonorus Audio, he's on his own level. There's almost no equal to this machine for its package. Like there's no extra power supplies, there's no EQ boxes. It's this is the entire unit.
The mechanism and all the modern
That's
touch
it.
buttons.
So basically everything is modern circuitry. This is not a 45-year-old circuitry. There's 4 vacuum tubes. It's a vacuum tube output stage.
Okay, so the stage is built in, integrated.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's a play-only machine. It does not record. The sound that you get from this machine is what we call high-res analog. Gives you all the benefits of sort of analog, the smooth dimensionality, and just. But the thing that's most apparent about this is the low noise, low coloration, and dynamic range. I mean, we had the wall playing. We have the wall on tape.
Oh, yeah.
And some of that, the crazy effects. I mean, we had to turn the sound, the amps down because the speakers were just like. Frankly, it scared the crap out of me. I was
Oh
like,
yeah, the
Right
woofers
back
are
there.
pulsing.
I was like, holy
wow,
smokes!
yeah.
But just like dynamic range beyond your imagination.
Yeah, well, it's closer to the master tape. The format and all that is more
absolutely.
parallel. I would
And
expect.
people go into each room. They see servers. They see They don't see a lot of high-end tape decks. So a lot of our customers, this is one of
Completely
the only
modern.
sources they use.
Yeah,
you know.
and completely modern, of course. As you said.
Everything's
So, yeah.
modern. New tape, like composites. You know, the tape is new, so they last forever.
Yeah.
Things just badass and reliable, and just a beautiful kit. The entire package, just amazing.
Yeah, and the tape stage built in that makes it more seamless.
Everything.
Yeah.
You plug in your interconnects, you plug the thing in, and off you go. It comes with a nice remote and all that. So we are the exclusive dealer in the United States and Canada for this machine.
Oh.
Which is also why we show it, frankly.
Okay,
But
cool.
sound quality. And people just, I mean, Josh told me, he goes, we had people here for 3 or 4 hours yesterday.
Yeah.
Julie, we can't
that's
get them out of the room.
incredible. Yeah,
we can't get them out of the room.
People
So-
waiting to listen. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the
great.
tape machine. It's amazing.
fantastic. And I'm sure the tape stage is isolated, everything inside all thought through.
I mean, to the degree they can,
Yeah.
you know, but it's just
Yeah.
as a all-in-one box package, there's almost no equal to it that I'm aware of. Josh, you have any ideas on
I
that?
think it's the best source I've heard.
Yeah, and then elsewhere we've got the network server, this from Taiko Audio
Yep.
out of the Netherlands.
Correct.
And this is also an Extreme model called the Extreme.
That's it.
Yeah, and it looks like quite an interesting design and a heavy beast. And you
100
said
pounds.
100 pounds and 4 terabytes.
It's a work of art internally
there.
too. You take the lid off and you understand why it costs what it does and why it sounds like it does.
Well, there's 2 CPUs in it, Julie,
Okay.
and they use liquid cooling to
Oh,
cool
okay,
the
to
circuits
keep it-
down. You know, so and most people think that the Taiko is the sort of reference streamer these days, and in the world of Uber streamers, frankly, it's pretty good value. There's some expensive streamers out there. This is, of course, expensive, but you know, and then they have the new model, the Olympus, as well, which is above that. But the Taiko is in a class of its own as far as we're concerned. Absolutely. And you know what else? Taiko is pushing the edge of the art. We like companies that continuously do R&D and push and push.
yeah.
They have proprietary outputs on their new Olympus. They have upgraded outputs for like USB and Ethernet. So they do all kinds of crazy things to continue to push the edge of the art for streaming, and it's super evident. You know, it's when you listen to it, is amazing.
Yeah, and then we've got the preamplifier also, and another DAC streamer from Vitus as well. This is the SD103, right? Or no, SD25.
SL103
I had it
and
backwards.
the SD025.
Yeah.
It's their signature DAC and signature line stage, and running then their signature mono. So this is a full signature loom of mono amp, preamp, and DAC.
Yeah.
Julie, I think what's important to note is this is not their entry-level gear, but this is not their top-level gear either. This is sort of their
Signature middle.
Correct. They're kind of middle line, most popular models, line, except for their integrateds. But they have a level above this called the Masterpiece, which is amazing. But this is by no means their most expensive gear.
Yeah. All right. And then let's talk accessories a little bit too. I see you have crystal cable.
Yep.
Those are always elegant and a good match
Josh,
for
why don't
the
you
system.
talk about it?
So we
and
have.
these are the Da Vinci line?
We are running a
right?
full Da Vinci loom. We also are using crystal cable infinity power cables. We have 5 of their infinity series power cable, which is their 1 of 200 all-out effort,
Ultra premium.
best
yes.
power cord I've ever heard.
Let
Amazing.
me insert something here. This room is a joint venture between Scott Walker Audio and Luxury Audio Group, which is Aldo Filippelli's company.
Oh, yes.
Aldo imports Vitus, Estelon, and Crystal Cable. So that's sort of the reason we're using, and Neo Racks, by the way, and that's the reason we're using this combination today. Couldn't attend the show because he's been ill. But that's sort of the reason why we've come up with this.
With that, how it goes. Okay, okay, good to know.
So just giving him and his organization a shout out on
And
this.
then the other accessory right
I was
here.
about to ask about the carbon
So this
fiber,
is
the ART.
This is ART, Audio Realignment Technologies. This is a EMI EMR noise removing plate. Has some rare earth metals internally to kind of draw out EMI and EMR from within the component.
Looks like carbon fiber maybe on top.
It's just on top, but yeah, it has a crazy compound and kind of magnetic-like properties, actually. So, I mean, we're using here, we have one on the back of the tape machine, which is actually, it's magnetized itself to the back of the tape machine. So it's on
I
stamps.
see. Oh,
So,
okay, that's quite
Anyway, so
larger. And
we
then
have underneath the amplifiers, we have a speaker cable
in the
clamshell version.
boxes, Yeah, I was curious about
Yeah,
those.
so speaker cables
And
run through it, and I mean, what it does to the sound field is almost not believable. The sense of realism, the sense of layering, the sense of low noise, hash, grain, glare removed. It is a game changer in any audio system, and in a high-end system, if you don't have it and you haven't exported it, it's a must.
You don't know what you're missing.
You have no idea what you're missing without it.
And these are all passive devices.
They're all passive
devices,
devices, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And Aldo also at Luxury Audio Group imports them, and we are also the exclusive dealer in the United States and Canada for this product.
They are made in
okay.
the USA.
Yeah. So
nice. Okay.
amazing product. We do demos in here with them in and out, and
AB
people
and-
just they're floored by it.
Yeah, and then I noticed one other detail too, the RevoPods underneath.
yeah.
You were describing those a little
Yeah.
bit, and you have that under nearly every component.
So
here, right?
I'll tell
What are
you,
some effects?
you really can't imagine that a footer. You really can't imagine that a footer would make that big of a difference. The RevoPod has, I think it's 40 adjustments here, which
50.
will.
50? Yeah, it's
50.
50.
Yeah.
50.
Micro adjustments, but you know.
It's either 4 or 5 millimeters
Yeah,
that it's able
good
to displace. But what it does is it equalizes the pressure and adds ability, the essence of stability to the product. And
Yeah, and
what
leveling
you realize levels it out, but what you realize is low noise, low coloration, and the absolute clarity in sound field is not believable.
Well, and the control of the sound field. It just the time and space information of the sound field when you use these feet are amazing.
Yeah.
They're $14.95 for a set of 4.
Yeah.
So not crazy expensive, but a nice addition in performance for the money to any.
You could
component.
thread them into speakers or components, or you could use them passive. Just set the component on top.
Just rest it.
Either way.
Interesting.
And it's just unbelievable.
And then
in their
adjust to
performance.
level. You can also, you could essentially you could balance the unit if there's more weight in a certain area of the
Right,
component.
like a tube amp or something maybe.
Exactly.
Where
Yes,
it's-
where you have transformers in the back.
weighting it down.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you
right.
can adjust it so that it balances the weight and it changes the clarity in the sound field. It's really amazing.
All right, good
you know.
stuff. Yeah.
So,
Well, I think that covers it. Thank you
Yeah.
both so much.
yeah, all right.
Thank you.
Thanks.